Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another installment of Beer Time. I'm your host, Ferris. Thanks for joining me. So what we're going to talk about a little bit today, we're going to go back to cider because, well, I'm not going to lie, that seems to be a little bit more popular on some of the reviews. Now, we've done, so far, Angry Orchard, Crisp Apple, Wider's Raspberry, and one of these days I'm really going to kind of line everything up and do kind of a side-by-side taste test to see how they all stack up one after the other. Probably get a few shot glasses or samplers or something like that, because if I do that with 12-ounce bottles like this, one after the other, well, I mean, my YouTube hits would probably go up pretty good, but I don't think I'd be able to show my face in public again. So, what we have here, this is Gumption by Woodchuck. Now, to my recollection, Woodchuck's been around for quite a while. I think the only other cidery I've seen kind of mainstream before cider's taken off in the last couple of years was Hornsby's, and even then they're pretty hard to find these days. I don't know if they're still around. If they are, let me know. I want to see what they're like, again, if they've kept the product the same. I remember having regular Woodchuck not too long ago, and it wasn't too bad, but a friend of mine said this stuff was really good, and actually, from what he told me, he said it compared favorably to Angry Orchard. In fact, he liked it better than that. So what we're going to do here, one thing I do want to say is I do kind of like, again, the label. This might not surprise any of you, but the image of the old carnival barker still does appeal to me personally. I feel that's one of those careers that isn't around anymore that I'd probably be in pretty good shape for. A couple other things on the bottle that leap out. It is 5.5% ABV. They got a little bit of flavor text on the back. Legendary showman P.T. Barnum once noted, quote, "Everybody drank cider spirits called gumption," unquote. Our Woodchuck Gumption celebrates the spirit of P.T. Barnum and those with the gumption to follow their own path. We pair the fresh juice of common eating apples with dry cider apples to bring you a bold and unique drinking experience. Now that fills me with mixed feelings there. For one, P.T. Barnum's most famous for the phrase, "You can fool some of the people some of the time. You can fool some people most of the time, but you can't fool all the people all of the time." So the guy kind of knew what he was going after. On the plus side, though, if they actually got their hands on some cider variety apples, I'm guessing probably importing them from either England or France or what have you, we might be in for kind of an interesting product here. As you might remember from the last cider video I mentioned, one of the issues that cider's been having a problem with is that you're facing a lot of demand for it, but a lot of what made it a special product here in the States, the strains of apples or what have you, are mostly defunct due to prohibition. So, let's see what we got going on here. About what you'd expect color-wise. Again, not a lot of head. Nice yellow color there. Alright. Good aroma on that. I'll say that to start off with. You know that aroma you get when you have a good whiff of Dutch apple pie? Almost kind of like that. You know, it really kind of hits you in the face with apples. All right. My buddy wasn't kidding. I like that. Let's get another bit just for... All right. It's got a lot of depth of character to it. And what I mean by that is that there's more than one level going on your flavor. You do have your sweet apple flavors to it, but again, think about like your apple pie. You've got more yeast coming through it. You've got, I don't think there's any spices to that, but it's got a real nice dry finish to it as well. It's got a lot more apple flavor. Again, not as sweet as you'd have for, say, Orchard, for your Angry Orchard, but it feels a lot more substantial, which, again, it makes a little bit more sense. It's about 0.5% more ABV. But I feel like, and again, I'll say this again, I have to kind of have them side by side really to say which one I'd prefer more definitively. But I feel like, from a cider person's perspective, I feel like you'd get a little bit more respect from a person if you can find one of these than you would for Angry Orchard. And that kind of gets into the whole, is it more exclusive? Is it a little bit rarer to find? You know, so your mileage might vary a little bit there. Good mouthfeel to it. Very similar to most ciders. Again, not as heavy on the palate. It's not quite green apple, but it's very close. Not as dry as that, but it's got a real nice tart, dry tartness to it. That is very good, though. That is excellent. Clarity is solid. Let's get into some of the consumer side of things here. This ran me about $8 and change at Walmart. So availability, if I can find it at Walmart, chances are you might be able to find it at your own place, depending on local liquor laws. At least here in the lower 48. I don't know about up north. Let's see where this is brewed in. Here we go. Bottled by Woodchuck Cidery, Middlebury, Vermont. So, East Coast Cidery, West Coast Walmart. Odds are you'll probably be able to find it someplace. Check with your local suppliers. I would definitely get that again. More to the point, I would also get that if I were introducing someone to cider as well. Don't get me wrong, I still think that just due to availability, Angry Orchard might be the better cider to get to just because it's more prevalent. I've seen it in more bars, for example. But I would definitely say this is also another good one. If you've got if you're out at the bar with a friend that says, "Oh, I've always been meaning to try cider, I'll never do it. You know, I didn't know what it's like or what have you." This is a good option. It would not turn anybody off from the brand or from the drink, I should say. It is very approachable. It's not like an IPA that's, you know, you've got that hot mountain to climb before you do all that. No, very good, very easy drinking. I wouldn't say it's sessionable. At 5.5%, you're starting to get outside of that area of 1 or 2, you know, for yard work. But not impossible, you know. Good all-around drink there. Actually, this would really be very good. It's great on its own, but this would be good in a snake bite. And for those of you who don't know what a snake bite is, or if you're unfamiliar with that, it's one of those layered beer drinks, like a black and tan, where it's about half hard cider like this and half lager. So think like, well, not Corona, but like Harp, for example. And it's one of those beer drinks where you get a nifty two-layered effect. You get different textures going through it. This would make an excellent snake bite, just because it's got that real up and solid apple flavor backbone to it. If you did a weaker cider, that might get lost in the lager. That would work very well. You could mix it into another cocktail as well too. There's plenty of other stuff out there. But frankly, I just enjoy it on its own. It's definitely got a lot of good aromatic flavors to it. Or a lot of aromatic qualities, I should say, pardon me. A lot of good flavors to it. If you are an apple lover, this is it. You know what, I'm going to say it. I'm going to want to do a side-by-side comparison just to make sure. However, I'm kind of liking this more than Angry Orchard's Crisp Apple. I feel like it has more going on. It's enticing my palate a little bit more. There's a better aftertaste to it. I feel like it's a more quality product, which could be the case. Again, big caveat there. I want to have them side by side so I get that and bring those results to you. But I know Woodchuck's been around for a long time. So they might have their stuff together better. I mean, Orchard's good. And if you find any Orchard, again, I'm not saying don't buy their stuff. They got great stuff. They got a whole line of stuff that I haven't even touched on yet, but I will be getting to in later videos. I can guarantee that. But if you're talking about just your average generic cider, I think I'm going to stick with this. That is very good. Anyway, that's about all I have on this one here. I can't say too much more about a good product. In the meantime, thank you for joining me. Please subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at @iron_fox. In the meantime, as always, please stay safe and please drink responsibly. Cheers. Y'all have a good night. Thanks for joining me.